I think the worst is the Black Manta. Like, I think you showed us, you sent us a video that's about the fact that they should have just left him for the sequel.
They should have just
like,
what?
left him for the sequel. Like,
You think he shouldn't have been in the first movie?
like he was another antagonist. He was another thing that Arthur had to dodge. But like, I think it's a problem that DC movies have, is that they have like interesting villains, but they don't spend enough time with them because we're too busy dodging 1,000 other villains.
Which is a hilarious comment after the Spider-Man thing, but go on.
Yeah, yeah. I think they have the opposite problems. Because that's how we view it.
Well, also because
Marvel doesn't.
DC has good villains.
Yeah.
They don't use them wisely, though. But anyway.
Yeah, I think that's the problem with this, is that Marvel doesn't have good villains. DC does, but we don't spend enough time with them. And I think there is, I think that's the problem with Black Manta, is that he could have been, even from the trailers, I was like, I'm more interested in Black Manta than I am Orm. Because, like, from a video that Isadore had sent us, like, there is this level of, like, we've seen this story already. We've seen the person trying to conquer the world. It's the most common arc that we see in superhero movies. What we want to see is the more personal, that's what works in Spider-Verse, is the personal problems and the personal, like, antagonists and the personal, like, Prowler works. Fisk works even in that movie because there is a personal level to it.
I feel like Black Manta was just pointless. It could have been the same exact movie if you took out every single one of his scenes. I feel like he really didn't add anything. He was completely irrelevant up until Italy, at which point it was just, neat, we have a fight/chase scene all through Italy that wasted way too much fun for Nicole's liking, and then he just disappeared all over again. So why were you here? It's one of those, he really could have just not been in this movie altogether, delete every single scene exactly right now as it is, and it will be the same exact movie that you would have had before.
Yeah.
Nah, I don't agree with that. Where Aquaman regrets, like, leaving Black Manta's father to die, which he says, I feel like they're gonna set up the sequel with carrying out having Randall Park as, like, the crazed news person that they had on the TV, and then in the true end of the movie where he shows up again.
But does he regret it? Because once he killed him and Black Manta was, kind of like up in arms, and he was like, well, how many people have you guys just killed? And then he left. There wasn't really any remorse that was there.
Well, he shows, it's a sort of remorse. He talks about, like, when he's talking to Mira on the boat, he talks about how, it was up to me and I let this guy die, and now it's a problem for us. It's sort of, he doesn't go into it. It doesn't seem like I feel bad for what I've done. It's, I shouldn't have done this because now it can come back and bite me in the ass.
So you don't think it was one of those regret things?
Like, I mean, they could have, there was enough there they could have made that scene a personal regret, but I think the way they played it, it was an inconvenience.
Gotcha.
Because
that is one thing that I thought was dope versus, what's it called? Like Black Panther, how they were saying his portrayal in Civil War, where he has, like, the scene where he's like, I don't care, or like when he's tracking down the villain for the whole movie, and I thought that he honestly was just gonna murder oh boy, and I'd have been perfectly fine with that.
And he was going to, though.
When he, like, retracts his claws and doesn't, but then when Black Manta was like, you have to do something, and then Aquaman's like, yeah, pray to the ocean for mercy, or whatever crap he said.
Yeah.
And then actually lets him die. I was like, that's gangster, and I feel like that's what I would have wanted Black Panther to be, just that he has his own sense of justice and follows that code.
Okay. I mean, that's a view you're allowed to have.
I don't know. With Black Manta, though, I was disappointed that like when they set it up and they show Black Manta and then his father, I was like, oh snap! I thought it was gonna be like a Tuskegee Airmen type thing where you have like a all black naval base, or like turncoats or like that. His crew I thought was gonna be all black, and then they weren't. And then also the fact that he was essentially like a I don't know. I took it as a certain way that he was essentially working for Patrick Wilson versus him being like his own man. Um,
I think he was his own man, but the like in the movie where we're seeing, he was taking jobs for Orm. Like he probably does his own pirate shit, but like right, like the pirate shit is getting money on the high seas, and he's getting paid right now. So I feel
Yeah.
like that's probably not his whole life, but in this movie, he was a tool of Orm, yes.
Yeah.
gotcha.
But on that whole like his crew and whatnot, and this is how about this? How about this for drinking? Anytime there's exposition in this movie, take a shot because
You'd be dead.
you
You'd
would be
dead.
dead. I mean, like anytime they take some time out of the movie to explain shit you should know about their world, like the scene with
I can think of some.
Black Manta. He's like, hey, we're in the because when I watched this movie the first time I watched it, I was like, why are we stopping in the middle of this submarine heist to talk about my grandfather? Like, what the fuck? Like, what? We had not talked about Grandpa before this? Like, what is it? Why? Is this like my 100th?
Here is his knife. The first time you've heard of this knife is right now.
No, it's what it is. It's
No.
his 100th
Oh.
submarine takeover, and so he gets an award or something. I don't know, but I hated that. And then there was that for him. There was that for every single piece of fucking Atlantis. Like,
Every time Amber Heard talked was exposition.
yes.
Let me tell you why we can talk right here in this air pocket and where it came from in a ship in the ghetto of Atlantis.
The ghetto of Atlantis. Yes.
Goodness
And here we
gracious.
are in Sicily, and wine has been exploded all over the place. But let's talk about
Even
what
when
is
she
happening.
finds Pinocchio's like, did you know Pinocchio was a book? That's a thing that happens.
Did you know there is water and sweat?
Here we are in the trenches being chased by terrible man-eating monsters.
Did you
Well, let's
know-
talk about this first.
Let me explain how a desert works. It used to be wet here.
Did you know that players can work underwater? Let's take it from the boat into the trench.
Okay, don't be mean on
All
her
right,
on that one
that's
because you
messed
asked
up.
that question.
That's jacked up.
I really
And I had to
didn't stop
explain that
him.
one to you.
I stopped him in the movie and I go, wait, how is that working? They're underwater.
Yo,
I
I thought
can
the
explain a
same
little bit of
thing. I was like,
chemistry,
yo,
right?
fam, how is? But I thought it was like movie magic. I was wrong.
No,
No, we had a quick science lesson.
no, but yes, exposition. Oh my god, the exposition.